I'm starting to think there's a design flaw somewhere on this mule. So I pulled an oil sample, and as you can see, you can't see the bottom, and this oil is barely used. And just for comparison, this is what fresh oil looks like. You can see through it. So there's definitely some contamination going on with this. I don't know where to go with this now. I mean, yeah, there's definitely something in there. Well, I really want to confirm this, so I want to add a little bit of gas to this clean oil to see if it turns out like that. So there's just a very little bit left in this jug. Okay. Okay, so this definitely has gas in it now. And it's hard to tell. Well, yeah, there it goes. You have to mix it. Yep, looks just like that now. So yeah, I definitely got gas in my oil again. What to do? Put an OEM carburetor on it, OEM fuel pump. I don't know how the gas is getting into the oil. All right, I'm gonna have to think about this. Yeah, it looks the same. Well, unfortunately, we're back on this again. I gotta run to town and get a oil filter. So yeah, we got 3 ports coming off the fuel tank. This first one goes down to the bottom of this canister. The one over here comes and goes into the top of the canister here. The middle one is the fuel line, and it goes into the pulse pump, and then it comes out of the pulse pump to the carburetor, which I put a cutoff switch on. This location of the cutoff switch will not prevent leakage back through the pulse pump line. So I was thinking about, since that's gap there, getting another cutoff. But what I can do is add the cutoff over here prior to getting to the pulse pump. So that way it cuts off the fuel and to the pump. Cuts off the fuel before the pump, not after. So I've been religiously checking the oil, and the other day when I pulled this out, I noticed that it was, yeah, you can see it's milky. So it's right on the full mark, and I intentionally left it about an 1/8 inch low. So that told me I'm getting something in there. So I think my game plan, obviously I got to change the oil again. Well, my game plan is going to be to delete this canister and cap off them 2. I'm going to have to leave one open so it'll breathe, but I think there's a vent right there also. So I'm going to delete this canister, and then I'm going to move this cutoff valve to the other side of the pulse pump, and then I'll have to use this religiously. That does not solve the problem though if the gas gets in the oil while it's running. So all I can do is chase this and see if we can just add a cutoff to it and delete the canister. And I really don't see a need to pull that new carb and test it, because it tested good before I put it in. All right, well, I'm back from town. I got an oil filter. Got some of these rubber caps, so when I delete that canister, I can cap the lines off. Picked up another cutoff valve. Not sure I'm going to need that. Some new fuel hose. And somebody mentioned that the fuel pump might be putting out too much pressure. So I got a fuel pressure gauge, and I got a T adapter and a fitting to be able to connect that to the fuel hose. So I should be able to measure the fuel pressure. But the sun has come out and the humidity has dropped, but he hasn't moved. So yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah. All right, oil's changed, and let me explain what I did here. I deleted that canister. Reason being, this line here actually goes into the fuel, so I capped it off. This is the actual fuel line going to the pump, and this is just like a breather, so I have to leave this one open. So over here we got the fuel line. I got the shut off before the pump, so then it comes over, comes into the pump. The pump then pressurizes the fuel. I put a T, and I came off that T back to this fuel pressure gauge. So I haven't started it yet. I just got done changing the oil. So let's crank it up and see what we read on the gauge and if I got any leaks. Contact. Less than 2 psi on the gauge. And I'm not seeing any leaks. I do have to ride it around and come back and double check the oil again on the level. I'm going to shut it off now. And then we're going to close the valve. That should prevent, because we still have pressure on this side of the line. So if the carb is leaking, we'll see that bleed down. I'll come back in a little bit. All right, guys, it's been a couple hours later, and we've lost a little bit of pressure. So I do have a plan B. So let me put that on, and yeah, I had to run back to the parts store and get plan B, but yeah, let's do that. All right, let's see if we got any drivability issues. All right, I pulled up in the sun so we can see what's going on here. I got about a little over 1.5 psi of fuel pressure. We added a fuel cutoff to cut the fuel off going to the carb. But when we do that, we shut it off, we maintain pressure, and potentially that could force gas over time. So we cut the fuel off to the carb, and then I added another cutoff that goes back to the tank, so we can open that one up and let the pressure off of it. So that's my solution. If y'all think of anything different, and the only thing that would not solve is if it's getting gas in the oil while we're driving, which it shouldn't. So we're going to try this setup for a while. The oil has been changed, and it is, I don't know, it looks like oil. It smells like oil. So all right, hopefully that does it for the mule. Thanks for watching.